Kristaps Porzingis has been away from a basketball court for a long time, at least from the competition as we know it. A serious injury to his left knee prevented him from playing his first All-Star game in 2018, beginning a long recovery process in his cruciate ligament that accelerated his disillusionment with the New York Knicks and made his departure possible. Now established with the Dallas Mavericks, the Latvian player aims to prove he is still one of the most decisive players in the NBA alongside Luka Doncic. After landing in the NBA from the ACB's Baloncesto Sevilla in 2015, many predicted a bright future for 24-year-old Kristaps Porzingis at the New York Knicks, who picked the Latvian in the 4th position of that year's draft. And they were not at all disappointed, as in his rookie year, he was soon noticed and in 2016-17 was already considered the future of the franchise. But the news is that Porzingis, the 7'3" All-Star the Mavs acquired in a successful deal with the New York Knicks before last season's exchange deadline, rose to a personal high of 242 pounds during the summer. Teammates praised the explosiveness shown by Porzingis in recent casual games. "I feel great physically. I feel 100%. I probably feel better than I've ever felt in my life. It's been a long time since I got out, but I've been working on this rehab process. I'm extremely excited to get back on the court and remind everyone what I'm capable of doing," Porzingis told ESPN. Porzingis, as the Wall Street Journal reveals in an article, is on a high-calorie diet that leads to large amounts of food, no less than 5,000 calories a day, more than twice that of a normal person, has allowed him to gain weight in just over 2 months. A powerful breakfast with 4 fried eggs, bacon, pancakes, protein shakes. At mid-morning, he eats protein bars and some bananas. The meal consists of meat or chicken plus rice and various sources of carbohydrates, which he can compensate with some vegetables. After that meal, a nap is mandatory, 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Right after that, a peanut butter sandwich is eaten with milk. And for dinner, enjoy beef or chicken accompanied with vegetables. Dessert, the only permissive part, can be sweet. Porzingis has been medically cleared for full basketball activities for several months. He practiced with the Mavs late last season, but Porzingis and the team mutually agreed it was in his long-term best interest to continue to prioritize strength and conditioning work rather than playing in the last 10 or 15 games of the season. Dallas will continue to take a cautious, long-term approach with Porzingis, who re-signed with the Mavs this summer on a maximum 5-year, $148 million contract, although details of their load management program have yet to be finalized. "If I had a gun to my head, I'd say there's a good chance we'll be very careful in consecutive games, but I'm not sure. I don't know how he's going to feel at that point. He may be insisting on playing, but I believe in his case, in the case of any player like that, the Mavericks or any team is going to err on the side of caution," said Mavs coach Rick Carlisle. The Mavs believe that 20-year-old Porzingis and Luka Doncic, last season's Rookie of the Year, can be the pillars of a contender. They have often been compared, by those inside and outside the organization, as a larger version of the Dirk Nowitzki-Steve Nash duo that played such a critical role in the franchise revival in the 2000s. "It could be a nightmare for the teams of the future. We just have to develop that chemistry on the court," said Porzingis, who averaged 22.7 points, 6.6, 2.4 blocks per game in his final season with the Knicks before suffering a knee injury in early February. The hope is that Porzingis and Doncic can lead the Mavs back to the playoffs this season, ending a 3-year drought. "He's an incredible player, a great talent, a hard worker. We have him, me, and many good players on this team. So I want to make the playoffs, and I hope we do," said Doncic. It's been more than a year and a half since Porzingis was injured after making a dunk on Giannis Antetokounmpo in a regular season game at Madison Square Garden. Too much time away from direct competition and working on honing his physique and resources for the difficult challenge he faces. The injury could not have come at a worse time, as he was signaling his best season to date, with some numbers that had opened the doors of the All-Star game wide open for him. The Mavs did not hesitate at any time to renew that Latvian player and offered him 5 seasons for about $158 million. A risky bet given his predisposition to injury, but which could prove cheap if he recovers some of the performance he showed at before the injury. Aware that he had a long road ahead of him, Porzingis began a tedious period of rehabilitation, the process of which can be seen in an episodic documentary, still unfinished, in view of the fact that, in New York, they were in no hurry to hasten his return. Along the way, relations with his franchise deteriorated to the point of applying for a transfer, which finally took place in February this year to Dallas, where the other budding star we were talking about was waiting for him, Luka Doncic. Despite the fact that Porzingis could have a chance to play, all the Mavericks staff, aligned with the player's opinion, decided not to risk it, so the Latvian finally spent the whole year blank. But far from the pitches, he took refuge in the gymnasium, where he has carried out an intense preparation that is bearing fruit. The unicorn has become a mountain of muscles at 7'2". A performance that is impressing his colleagues and technical staff of the franchise in the first training matches that are being held in Dallas, according to the Dallas Morning News. He's a 7'2" player, and he shoots from any position with simplicity. It's a bit difficult to try and condition his shots. He moves well and is in great shape. He looks very good on the court. We are very excited, says his new teammate Dwight Powell. In fact, the Latvian is totally focused on his training and physical preparation, and was not even present at the World Cup in China. He knows that Dallas has made a strong bet on his arrival, and he didn't want to disappoint those who blindly believed in his chances. While he awaits the start of the NBA season, his only goal is to become stronger through series and repetitions. No return date has been confirmed for the Mavericks player, although he will most likely be available for the remainder of the 2020 season with minute restrictions and load management in his first few months. Porzingis has been seen in these trainings with a notable improvement in his muscle mass, something necessary after his first seasons in the league, and that is a result of his work to improve his physical condition. But do you remember how bad the Latvian player had it not so long ago? It seems like a lie, but those days when El Madison wouldn't forgive him are long gone. It was 2 matches in just 1 week, the first in Dallas, the second in New York. Porzingis was good at both. Doncic was even better. But the worst was before the game in New York, when the reception for Kristaps Porzingis was certainly hostile, with a widespread booing of remarkable proportions. The Latvian had gone from being a local hero to being a villain. Porzingis drew a circumstantial smile when he was introduced. The environment pressure against him was brutal. He did not do badly on the court in his first head-to-head with his former fans, but his team lost to the Knicks again. The game was back to choke Dallas. Porzingis' 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks were all gone. Neither did Doncic's 33 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. New York and Marcus Morris with 20 points, and 5 out of 7 from the 3-line. Julius Randle had 17 points and 10 rebounds. Center Mitchell Robinson contributed 16 points and 8 rebounds. And Dennis Smith Jr. was very motivated against his old team, and against Doncic, the player who shut him down in Dallas. Mavs' center had been the idol of the New York crowd. He became an all-star with the Knicks, but it all came to a screeching halt on February 6, 2018, when the player suffered a serious knee injury. The long recovery didn't help much since New York, but new coach David Fitzdale. The relationship was broken, and Porzingis ended up in Dallas because he wanted to get out of the Knicks. The Knicks won that day, and the crowd went away doubly happy because this team's victory, and because he'd seen his #1 enemy defeated. That enemy is none other than Porzingis. And back to the figures. The former CB Sevilla player had averaged 22.7 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks in the 48 games he played in his last campaign, 2017 to 2018, with the New York Knicks. How will he return to his new team? Do you think the incredible training that has put him in shape will help him to take off? Tell us what you think in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave us a like down below and smash the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Check out these videos.